Hey, I am Techno Sapiens, and this is To the Point. Let me ask you a question. Imagine you have 3 kids and a stay-at-home wife, and you are working to provide for them, and your household is so grateful to have you as their protector and provider. Now imagine God, or Allah, showed up in your dream and gave you 2 options. Option A is to die right away, abandon your family behind with no protector and provider, and He will take you straight to heaven. Or option B is to wait until your children are old enough to be by themselves and fulfill your duty as a parent, then you die, natural death, and take you straight to hellfire. What would you choose? I am asking you this because I once asked a Muslim friend of mine, and I remember him choosing option A, which is to die and abandon his children behind so that he can get to heaven. How about you? Yes, I am talking to you watching this video. Would you leave your 3 beautiful children that you brought to this world and promise them that you will be there to protect them and provide for them? Would you choose to abandon them just because you are promised a direct flight to heaven in the afterlife? If you still choose option A and decide to abandon your children so that you can go to heaven, ladies and gentlemen, sorry to say this, but this is the perfect definition of a narcissist. Because narcissists put their happiness as their top priority, no matter the damage it's causing. A narcissistic parent would readily abandon their children in favor of an assured place in heaven. This choice stems from their core belief that they are uniquely deserving of a superior fate, and their own eternal happiness is of paramount importance. The children, viewed as mere extensions of the parent's ego, would be seen as a minor, worldly sacrifice for the ultimate personal reward. This decision reflects a narcissistic mindset that consistently prioritizes self-interest and grandiosity over the well-being and needs of others, even their own offspring. For the narcissist, the promise of eternal validation and bliss in heaven outweighs any earthly responsibility, making the abandonment of their children a rational choice in their self-serving worldview. The idea of going to heaven as a primary motivation for one's actions and beliefs can be viewed as a form of narcissism. This perspective argues that focusing on securing a personal afterlife reward places the individual's eternal well-being above all else. It shifts the primary purpose of life from selfless service to others and the world to a self-centered pursuit of personal salvation. This mindset can encourage a transactional relationship with the divine. I will follow the rules, be a good person, or perform certain rituals with the ultimate goal of receiving a prize, my place in paradise. This focus on personal gain can overshadow genuine love for one's fellow human beings or a desire to improve the world for its own sake, framing all actions through the lens of individual benefit. Furthermore, this pursuit can lead to a sense of superiority over those who do not share the same beliefs or goals. The notion of us who are saved and them who are not can foster a spiritual elitism. If one believes that their specific set of beliefs or actions will grant them entry into a perfect afterlife, while others' beliefs will lead to eternal damnation, it creates a clear division. This can breed an attitude of condescension and judgment toward outsiders. The desire to be among the chosen few who will receive the ultimate reward is, from this perspective, a narcissistic impulse to be special and unique, reinforcing a separation from the rest of humanity rather than a connection to it. The concept of a perfect and eternal reward can also distract from the pressing issues of the present world. A person who is primarily focused on securing their spot in heaven might be less motivated to address social injustice, poverty, or environmental degradation. If this life is merely a temporary trial on the way to a perfect afterlife, the problems of this world may seem less urgent. This can create a passive or apathetic stance toward worldly suffering. The ultimate goal becomes escaping this world, not transforming it for the better, which is a fundamentally self-interested and narcissistic approach that prioritizes one's own future over the well-being of the current world. Moreover, the pursuit of heaven can be seen as an attempt to fulfill a deep-seated desire for validation and eternal praise. The idea of being in the presence of a deity who is eternally pleased with you and your actions is an ultimate form of external validation. A narcissist may seek external validation from God by claiming divine favor, special status, or using religious language to manipulate others and justify their superiority, rather than seeking genuine spiritual transformation. This often involves a distorted view of grace, a distorted understanding of God, and a difficulty in acknowledging their own flaws, leading them to use their faith as a tool for self-promotion and control. This can be a powerful motivator for someone who feels unappreciated or insecure in this life. The promise of an afterlife filled with adoration and reward can feed into a narcissistic need for constant affirmation. It creates a feedback loop where good deeds are done not out of pure altruism, but to secure the ultimate and everlasting praise from the divine, fulfilling a deeply personal need for recognition and worth. The idea of an idealized, perfect afterlife can be a narcissistic fantasy of a world tailored to one's own desires. The common depictions of heaven, free from pain, suffering, and conflict, and filled with eternal bliss, can be seen as a projection of a person's idealized self-image and desires onto the cosmic stage. This is a universe where one's own comfort and happiness are the ultimate goal. This view argues that such a self-centered pursuit of an idealized existence is inherently narcissistic, as it fails to acknowledge the complexities and interconnectedness of life and prioritizes personal eternal happiness above the collective good. The belief in going to heaven while others are condemned to hell can be seen as having similarities with a narcissistic mindset. A core tenet of narcissism is an inflated sense of self-importance and a belief in one's own superiority. When a person holds the conviction that their specific set of beliefs or actions will grant them a blissful eternal reward, while those who do not share their faith will face eternal torment, it can create a spiritual hierarchy. This mindset places the believer in a privileged position, reinforcing a sense of being special or chosen by the divine. This spiritual elitism mirrors the narcissistic need to feel unique and superior to others, creating a sense of being part of an exclusive club destined for ultimate happiness. This belief system can also manifest as a lack of empathy and a judgmental attitude toward others. A narcissistic individual struggles with genuine empathy because their focus is primarily on themselves and their own needs. Similarly, a person who believes others are destined for hell may find it difficult to fully empathize with their struggles or see their inherent worth. Their perspective is filtered through a lens of divine judgment, where the suffering of the damned is seen as a just consequence of their choices. This can lead to a dehumanizing view of outsiders, as their ultimate fate is already sealed. This spiritual detachment from the suffering of others is a profound parallel to the narcissistic inability to connect with and care for the emotional realities of those around them. Finally, the focus on personal salvation can be a form of self-serving motivation that aligns with a narcissistic worldview. In narcissism, relationships are often transactional, valued for what they can provide to the self. Similarly, a person's faith can become a transaction. I will follow the rules and believe the right things to ensure my personal security and happiness in the afterlife. This is a self-interested approach that can overshadow genuine altruism or a desire to improve the world for its own sake. The ultimate goal is to win the game of life by securing a spot in heaven, not out of pure love for the divine or for humanity, but to fulfill a deeply personal desire for eternal comfort and validation. Let me take you back to the original question. Would you still abandon your household and abandon the responsibility of your children for your own personal happiness? This was it for the day, guys. This is To The Point, and I am Techno Sapiens, and I'm out.